time for another episode of The Get Up. What's The Get Up? The Get Up is a slingshot. It's a chance to pull back your day and launch into a brand new adventure with motivation, encouragement, and practical actions you can apply to the goal you care about the most. I want to start with a question. Can you make a living as a full-time author? That's a good question, and it's one I've spent 10 years trying to figure out. When I first started writing, an expert told me that in order to survive as an author, you had to have 10 royalty-earning books. You see, the way traditional publishing works is that you get an advance from the publisher. Now, if your book sells through the advance, you can then start to earn royalties on each book that is sold. For instance, when I wrote my first book in 2010, I got a $30,000 advance from the publisher. That was amazing. I would have written that book for free. The idea that someone would pay me $30,000 for it blew my mind. Now, after taxes and my literary agent's fee, I got about $13,000. That was still awesome. I got to do something I love, and someone paid me for it. That's the dream, right? What was funny, though, was that people would ask me if I was going to quit my job now that I had a book deal. Can you imagine saying that to someone who won a $13,000 lottery? You going to retire now and maybe just go to Fiji? You hit the jackpot, 13G. The news never does a story on the guy who won $13,000. We're here with John Acuff, the winner of last night's $13,000 mega thousands. Mr. Acuff, what's the first thing you're going to do with all of your winnings? I'm going to Disney World, but I'm not staying on the property. I'm staying at the airport La Quinta, 13G. The other funny thing about that amount of money was the hourly rate. I spent more than 2,000 hours over a period of years working on the blog that turned into my first book. That means I netted 13 grand for 2,000 hours, which is roughly $6.50 an hour. I could have made more money bagging groceries, but I sold through the advance, which means I earned back the 30,000 and can now earn royalties. Now, royalties are paid quarterly. I get one of these royalty checks every quarter. Now, I got one recently, actually last week, and this is a copy of that check right here. Now, I've hit the New York Times bestsellers list twice. The book I'm talking about sold more than 90,000 copies. Let me put that into perspective. The average book sells less than 2,500 copies in its lifetime. The book I'm talking about was 36 times more successful than the average. I've toured the world as a public speaker, and I've shared my books with millions of people online. So, can you guess what the amount of this check is? Do you have a number in your head? I'll tell you. This check is for $77. I don't know if you can see that. That's right, $77. Now, remember, an expert told me you need 10 royalty-earning books to make a living as a full-time author. That means that if I wrote 10 books that all sold at least 90,000 copies, which is like hitting the lottery 10 times, I would make $770 every quarter. In a year, I'd get paid $3,080. Now, I don't know where you live. I don't know if you have a wife and 2 kids like I do. I don't know if you're thinking about college and weddings. I don't know if you're a fan of food and pants and a roof, but $3,080 a year is not an awesome salary.
It's like $1 an hour.
Now, I tell you this because I've learned a secret about life. It's one of my core philosophies. If you put this principle into place, it will change your life. If you want to chase a dream, there are only 2 parts, 2 things you have to do. Number 1, find something you love so much you do it for free. Find something you love so much you do it for free. I got paid $6.50 an hour to write my first book. I just got $77 in a quarterly royalty statement. If I got into writing because I want to make a ton of money, I would have quit years and years ago. There's no way I would have made it through the desert of learning if I was only motivated by the money. I love writing so much that I would have done it for free. So, find something you love so much you do it for free. That's the first part. That's the very first step. The second step is critical too. The second part is this: get so good at it that people pay you a lot of money for it. Work on your craft. Put in hours and weeks and months and years. Get creative. This royalty check is only one of the ways that I support my dream financially. I speak professionally. I consult with clients. I have a massive wall calendar that I sell. I've also worked really, really hard to grow the advances I get by super serving my publishers and working my butt off on the writing and the marketing. Not just writing, but also the marketing. Sharing ideas is my job, but it's also my passion. And the more I work at figuring out how to get paid for my work, the more I get to do something I do for free because I love it so much. They're related, they're connected. Can you make a living as an author or a painter or a photographer or a cobbler or a chef or in anything? You can. You just have to do two things. Number one, find something you love doing so much you do it for free. And then two, get so good at it that people pay you a lot of money for it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Get Up. I'd love if you'd hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Hit like and please subscribe. I'll keep making these if you keep watching.